How's it going, YouTube and my future self? Welcome back to the Lab TCG. My name is Will, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite places to sell Pokemon cards, more specifically singles and especially bulk singles, and that is going to be TCGPlayer. Now, TCGPlayer, I've heard, has been a little intimidating for some, especially if you're used to selling on eBay. TCGPlayer, it has no photos. It's very simple and streamlined. There's a lot of competition when it comes to the pages that people are buying off of, and it's not always used by collectors. A lot of the time, TCGPlayer is used by players of the card games that you're going to be selling. This video, I cover only Pokemon, but a lot of the content in this video is going to apply to trading cards that are not Pokemon, like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you're watching this for the Pokemon side, feel free to subscribe, leave a like. I talk about all things reselling, buying, selling, running a Pokemon business here on this channel. And if you're here not for Pokemon, I hope you enjoy the video. Maybe you'll learn something about it, and maybe this gets you into Pokemon, because Pokemon's pretty cool. So first of all, let's talk about what TCGPlayer is. Then I'm going to branch a little bit into what the buy page looks like, creating an account. Then we're going to talk about the competition on TCGPlayer, how to list inventory, shipping cards. I'm going to have some video demonstrations of that. Bubble mailers versus PWE, how I package orders, and the pricing tab using CSVs and stuff like that. So this video is definitely going to be a longer form. Hang in there. I'm going to go ahead and put some chapters in the description so that you can jump around to parts that might be necessary for you. So let's start with the biggest question. What is TCGPlayer? If you're used to using eBay, TCGPlayer is similar in the fact that it is a marketplace for sellers to list their inventory, Pokemon cards, sealed product, trading card supplies for various games, all types of stuff related to trading card games. When you are on TCGPlayer, it's similar to Amazon, where if you go on Amazon, you search up a listing, you want Pokemon booster boxes, a booster box listing shows up, and then under the listing, there's a bunch of sellers. TCGPlayer is pretty much the same way. They also have TCGPlayer Direct, which is also similar to Amazon FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon, where sellers will send their inventory to TCGPlayer, and they will send the inventory from TCGPlayer's fulfillment centers out to those customers. And I'm not going to talk too much about that because that's not an area I know a whole lot about. I'm mainly just going to be talking about selling singles personally. So, who buys on TCGPlayer? I kind of mentioned this earlier. Yes, collectors do buy on TCGPlayer, but in my experience, a lot of the cards that sell really well on TCGPlayer are going to be competitive cards for the card games. Now, this is definitely a generalization, and I could be completely wrong, but in my experience, the cards that always sell the best, have the best selling rate, are cards that are good in the trading card games competitively. For the Pokemon TCG, for example, right now, Drizzile is a card, it's an uncommon, that's selling for $3 to $5. I sell it all the time, and when I list them at a competitive price, they almost instantly sell out. Compared to a Poliwhirl Hollow, or Poliwrath Hollow, from one of the WotC sets, I still have that card in my inventory. It's been up there for a couple months, and I have a competitive price. So a lot of time, TCGPlayer is excellent for bulk singles that are good in the card game, and you can use limitlesstcg.com to figure out what cards are good competitive, or you can sort and filter on TCGPlayer to figure out what those cards are. So now that we know what our target market is, it's going to be those trading card game players that are looking for competitive cards. Everything sells on TCGPlayer, but mainly that's what sells the fastest. Let's go ahead and quickly jump over to TCGPlayer, and we'll talk about how to set up an account and get started. Alright, so jumping into the basics, this is going to be how to set up a TCGPlayer account for selling. You can go on here and create a normal buying account just by signing up, but if you are logged out on TCGPlayer, you don't have an account yet, if you go up to this upper right hand corner, and this is just tcgplayer.com, you hit sell with us, and the Sell With Us page is going to take you to all of the business solutions that TCGPlayer offers. There's the TCGPlayer Marketplace, the Pro Seller, and the Direct by TCGPlayer. The Pro Seller is basically just an upgraded version of the TCG Marketplace. It also allows you to do kiosk stuff in store, quick list, which is just like scanning cards and inventorying them that way, but there are higher fees on TCGPlayer Pro, so that's something to look into, and it's definitely for bigger scale stores. Then Direct by TCGPlayer, I kind of already mentioned this. You basically submit your inventory counts to TCGPlayer, they list it on their end, sell it to customers, and at the end of the month you send a reimbursement of the cards that you have to them for whatever you listed. So you're going to go ahead and hit get started, And on here, this is a little form that you need to fill out. If you're watching this video, you're probably not a brick and mortar store, so you're going to hit no there, and you're going to say no, you're not a seller on TCGPlayer already. To get started with a seller account, you want to go, I would like to create a TCGPlayer seller account, not pro, not direct. Then you can fill out the rest of this form, your contact information, your email, any questions you might have, and then that's it. So once you have created an account, we're going to go ahead and go on the back side of the seller portal. All right, sorry for moving around the webcam a whole bunch. Want to make sure that we're getting all the important information. So this is the seller portal background. So if you go from the TCGPlayer page, you log in up here, you can go here, hit seller portal, and then the seller portal is going to take you to the back end of TCGPlayer. Now, when you start off, if you can see over here in this little box right here, when you start off your TCGPlayer account brand new, you're going to be a level 1 seller. Now, this level 1 sellers, all the seller levels are on this little tab. The level 1 allows you to list 100 items. You can't go over that, and you are required to charge a certain amount of shipping, and that just continues to go through level 1 through 4. Level 2 allows you to list more stuff. You have to have a certain feedback. Level 3, same thing. And level 4, you can pretty much list up to like 50,000 cards. There's a ton of stuff you can do. Unlimited items at level 4, and you can set your shipping to like conditional shipping. So 78 cents is the standard low, and then free shipping past that. The best way to level up through TCGPlayer is going to be selling tracked orders. The way that this works, PWE orders, when you send them, you mark them as shipped, but it doesn't confirm that shipment as like shipped until a week later. So you want to use tracked orders, because if you use tracked orders, they're marked delivered, it's going to count towards your completed sales in about 3 days instead of a week. So that's the fastest way to level up, and you do need to have, I believe it's 51 completed orders in order to move up to level 4. So that's the leveling system. You can read that document right there. It's on the seller levels under the help files right there. And then we're going to go ahead and get into listing inventory. So on the inventory tab, this is going to be everything that you can list or could list. So if I am a seller and I want to list a Pikachu card, well, actually, let's use a card near me. So we have a Crustle, right? If you're doing Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, it might be a different card, but this is a Pokemon card. It's a Crustle, right? So this Crustle is from Evolving Skies, and it is card 12. So you could just go type in here Crustle and hit enter, and then now you're going to see all of the Crustles that you can list. So this Crustle is the one right here from Evolving Skies. Or if you want to be more specific, you can go Pokemon, you can go Set, which is Evolving Skies starting with Sword and Shield, and then up here type in Crustle, hit search, and it's going to bring you to this page. So whether you do it the first way or you enter in all the sets and specifics, it's going to take you to this page. So as you can see right here, there's our Crustle, and we have all this information. Now all this information can be a little bit confusing. So the lowest listing on TCGPlayer for this card on all of these is going to be 1 cent, 1 cent, 2 cents. Do not list cards for under 25 cents. You will not make money, and even at 25 cents, you're going to end up breaking even. So what I like to do when I'm listing cards is I like to hit view all live prices, and this is going to kind of talk about the competition. So on here, as you can see, if we sort this by this card's pretty cheap, 5 cents. So even if we list this at a quarter, we're not going to get on here. But as you can see, you have all these different sellers. So if we wanted our Crustle to be on page 1, we're going to try and get in between the Mint TCG and TCG single treasures. We would go, I have 1 Crustle. I want to list it for 1 penny. So I can't show you to the webcam, but on this side right here, you would go to the condition. So this Crustle, I'd say it's near mint. You'd go near mint. You would set your prices. And then on this side right here, you enter in how much you want to charge. And then on the last box is the total quantity. So if I can show you this, it would be 1 cent and 1. That'd be a near mint reverse for 1. And also the reverse cards are down here. So if I set this to 1 on the lightly played and hit save, which is up at the top there, it now says the Crustle updated queue successfully. So if we go back to the listings and we refresh, all right, so the Crustle has updated, and right here you can see my store name, the Lab TCG, 100% feedback. There is our Crustle 1 cent lightly played. Now I'm going to quickly remove this. If you want to remove anything, go back under the item and quickly remove that Crustle. Set your quantity to 0, and then it updates. So make sure you're always saving when you're doing that. Now that's how you list something. You simply type the name. So let's say we had a different card. We got this Karina's Full Art, the Karina's Focus. Near mint, you can just elect to match the lowest pricing, or like I said, you would go live prices, check out what's going on, and list from there. So I recommend that you undercut the listings that you think the price is by a penny. So on the first page, if you want this card to sell pretty fast, I would go to this guy's hobby shop, or the verified seller seems to be the best verified seller at near mint right now is Catch 'em All Cards. So I would do this card for $3.97, and that's going to put me right below that listing. So if you match your prices to what's currently listed, you can get on that first page and cards sell way quicker. In addition to that, you can also look at the latest sales data, which is right here. So today, 2 copies of this card have sold, one at $4.95 and one at $5.29. We also have a graph, and then up here, this is a TCGPlayer buy box, similar to how Amazon does their buy box. Next, I want to talk about shipping your orders. So once you actually have something that has sold, you are going to go onto the orders tab. As you can see here, I've sold something. So on the orders tab, you would jump over here, and it's going to show you all these orders. I'm going to go ahead and blur out all the relevant information to protect customer information. But essentially, the green highlight shows you that you have an order. Then you have the order number, which would be right here, the buyer name, the order date, the status, which ready to ship. Once you mark it shipped, it'll be shipped in transit, the standard shipping type, the product amount, the shipping amount, and the total amount, and then whether the buyer has paid. So once you have this information, you would click on the order number, and then you have all the information. So with this order, a Pokégear 3.0 lightly played reverse holo has sold. Over here, it shows us the complete breakdown. We have our net amount that's going to be paid out to us is 59 cents and all that. So from here, you hit the button that says print packing slip. And once you do that, you print your packing slip, and then you go pick the item from your inventory. Now, depending on how you have this set up, it's going to be completely up to you. I'm going to put some video over of me doing it. But you print your packing slip, you grab your card, and then I'm going to show you how I package TCGPlayer orders. All right, so here's how to pack a TCGPlayer order. First, we got our cards. I went ahead and blurred out all the information on the packing slip. This is printing straight from TCGPlayer. When you get an order, you can print this out. So we have our 4 copies of Adventures Discovery. Sold them for $2.45 a card, and there's 4 of them. So this is just the standard not going to put non-machinable or anything on it because it's just 4 cards. It's going to be under an ounce. I've found that 5 cards can be under an ounce and 1 stamp. There's different ways to do that. If you don't include the packing slip, you can fit more. So I'll take the 4 cards, double check the condition before I list them, put all 4 in a sleeve. I think sleeves can fit up to like 11 or 12 cards. So put all of it in there like that. Then if you've watched our other supplies videos, we've got these cardboard things. Go ahead and fold this. Take a piece of tape, line it on the bottom of that. Business card, that's up to you. You don't have to put that there. So go ahead and slide that in. Then I'll tape the bottom so it looks like this, right? Then fold that. And then next up, this packing slip, if you fold above the order number and fold around down here, you can make it so that this fits in an envelope and that the shipping address will display. So first bend is going to be right here. So that's right above the order number spot, right? And then the next bend is just under if you have any issues. So right there. For any issues with the contents of your order, you bend right there. So you have the first bend right there and the second bend there. And then once you do that, you simply bend the back part into that fold that you just created and then wrap it all together. And this is what that looks like. So it's like a little sandwich, right? So then I'll take the cards. Usually I write like a thank you note or something there. And then I will grab an envelope, which we use the windowed envelopes for that. You can either write your name up here. I use a stamp, so I'd put that there, and then take an actual stamp and put that in the upper right hand corner. And then when you slide this packing slip in there, like so, the name will appear right here. The next tab I want to talk about is the pricing tab. This is when you've already inventoried a ton of stuff and you want to bulk edit prices. It's not the greatest tool, but it definitely helps. So if we go to Pokemon and let's search Shining Legends, we can hit search, and then this is going to show us all the cards from Shining Legends and all the conditions and how much we want to price it by. You can go product name, Pokemon, Shining Legends, all that. Advanced filters, if we wanted to only do my catalog only, we could apply that filter and it's going to show us all of the inventory that I have listed. And then from here, you can see what the TCG lowest listing is, what my price is, and all that. So this is a great way to reprice items, make sure that you're staying competitive and that you're getting the most bang for your buck. As you can see in the seller portal, there are a ton of different tabs. I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the different tabs, but not show them. So we have the payments tab, which is going to show you a summary of all the payments that are pending to you. Payments are usually made within 4 business days. There's the reports tab, which has sales tax information, overall sales summaries, and different audits that you can perform on the business. The reports tab is pretty useful for sales tax and filing taxes. Then you also have a feedback tab that's going to tell you how customers are reacting to your stuff. They can rate your orders on a scale of 1 to 5 and choose to leave a comment or not leave a comment. Buyers can also send you messages if they'd like to, reaching out about anything that they may have an issue with, or you can reach out to customers yourself if you have an issue with anything going on. And then the details section just kind of talks about your store, allows you to have all your bank information and whatnot in that area. Next, I want to talk about some of the tips that I would give you if you are doing TCGPlayer sales. PWE versus bubble mailer. I kind of mentioned this already, but orders under $20, in order to maximize the amount you are getting for those orders, I would stick to PWE. You can fit about 30 cards into a plain white envelope and ship it non-machinable. Now, from the way I work, the way that I showed you, I can fit 5 cards into a TCGPlayer order and ship it for 1 ounce, which is going to be the standard 1 stamp. Anything over that, 6 cards, 7 cards, 30 cards, it gets 2 stamps, and I write non-machinable on the envelope, and I also add tape to make sure it doesn't get damaged in transit. Now, I do this because the post office uses machines to process the envelopes, and I do not want those cards to get damaged. So in an example where I have 30 cards, that's a ton of cards, the 2 stamps pays for that postage plus the non-machinable fee. I would split the 30 cards into 2 15s and then make it so that in the packing slip layout, there's 15 cards on each side of the packing slip, and so that it's not just 30 cards stacked up in one. I would say the max that you could do would probably be around that 15 card limit before you need to kind of split the cards in half. So usually what I do with that is I'll take a top loader, put all the cards in, and then a team bag. And if I have more than 15 cards, I'll separate it into 2 of that layout and then tape the 2 team bag top loaders with cards to the packing slip so that nothing is moving around. And anything over $20, bubble mailer. Unfortunately, with TCGPlayer, you can't use tracking on PWE. You just won't make money. That is a pro that eBay has that TCGPlayer does not. However, the amount of return or item not received cases or returns that I have gotten because of tracking not being on PWE is probably 1% of my orders, and I have done around 2,000 sales. The amount of returns that I have gotten or refunds because of not being received is pretty low. I do want to talk about refunds. Something that's pretty great about TCGPlayer is there's really not a whole lot of refund fees. If there are, they're super minor, and they're going to mainly affect you if you were to refund a huge purchase. Say you have 13,000 cards like me and you can't find the copy of Evolution Incense in your inventory. You can just reach out to that buyer, say, hey, I'm sorry I couldn't find this. Thanks for ordering my store. Here's the refund. Go along with your day. I've refunded a lot of people just because the amount of cards I have, and I'm not always the best at keeping stuff in order and how it should be. I've lost track of a ton of cards and have refunded way too many people, to be honest. Now, you can escalate any bad feedback that comes from that to TCG Player, but be customer obsessed here. Do not refund cards because they went up in price and someone bought them low. Save your refunds for things that actually happened. Oh, I can't find this card in my inventory. Let me go ahead and refund this buyer, or try and work out a solution. If there's ever an issue with some of those like bulk cards, just refund the buyer. You're going to save yourself a lot of headache if you just, side with them. The buyer's always right in this instance. And disputing condition, it's better to just refund it than to try and get negative feedback. In addition to condition, I list everything that is near mint as lightly played, everything that's lightly played as moderate, everything that's moderate as heavy. I always like to go one click down. The price difference that you're going to get on TCG Player is really not that big of a deal. As you could see on some of those listing, near mint cards were selling for $3.99 and lightly played cards were selling for $4. So you can kind of just be competitive with those prices, and the condition doesn't always matter. If you list something as lightly played and it's actually near mint, when the customer gets that near mint card that they ordered as lightly played, they're going to feel a lot better. So make sure you are under promising, over delivering. It's a great way to do business, and I have done 2,000 something sales and have 100% feedback. It hasn't done me wrong yet. Now, I know that was a lot of information and it might not be super simple to grasp everything, but just know that TCG Player is a great platform and you can reach out to their seller support at any time. You can also reach me at thelabtcg@gmail.com if you have any questions about what I've talked about today. It's really as simple as creating an account, putting in the inventory and the conditions, and then going from there. Just make sure you're pricing things competitively and on the lower side when it comes to other sellers, as stuff's going to sell really fast. And TCG Player is a great way to offload small singles that they don't really need tracking. You can get rid of bulk cards. It's a great way to get a high number of sales. And especially during bonus bucks periods or the holidays, the amount of sales you can get on TCG Player with a large inventory is pretty insane. So if you enjoyed this video, thanks so much for watching. As always, the supplies that I use for my business are going to be in the description. This will include stuff that I use for my TCG Player business. Go ahead and check them out. If you have any questions for me, thelabtcg@gmail.com, or if you need a sealed product, thelabtcg.com. Thanks so much for watching this. My name is Will, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great one.